need the adapter for this, right? To connect anything to it?
Yeah. Wow, this whole bag is... We have to dump everything out of my bag that Sean's been using, because this bag is a nightmare. Looks messy.
Yeah, it's extremely messy. Everything's all got grease on it too.
We got a nightmare situation going here with tools, so gonna organize this real quick before we can really even do much of anything. We are here in Stafford, Virginia right now, and we are, as you can see behind me, there's a beautiful wrapped blue C8 and an equally beautiful Eikon installation expert underneath the door right now. So what we're gonna go ahead and do here is we're just making an adjustment to the door. So there's a noise that's going on in there when the window goes up and down. Customer noticed it. Obviously we should have noticed that before we left on the installation, but you know, mistakes happen, accidents happen. So we're here shortly after the installation to take this door panel off and make sure that that noise is fixable, and we're gonna go ahead and fix that and correct that that mistake as we speak. That's what's happening. So, but it's very beautiful here, very, very beautiful. Lots of green. Normally not a huge fan of green, but it is pretty. This guy's got a private lake over here to himself. But yeah, it is gorgeous out here.
Yeah, you have way better hearing than than me. I didn't even hear anything rattle on the door, but
No?
I didn't put the window down either. Can you show me how to do the door adjustment?
When you just get this installed, eventually when the shock breaks in, you're gonna make minor adjustments to set the elevation of the back of the door going up or lower.
What's going on, guys? So first we're gonna go ahead and start with a 3/16 Allen, a little ratchet. Go ahead and pop the door up. You don't have to open it up, just go ahead and open it wide. You're gonna be looking for your entry point, which is gonna be this bolt right behind here on the left side of your kit. You go ahead and take your piece. You're gonna get it in there. Now when you adjust this, if you go clockwise, it's gonna go up, counterclockwise, it's gonna go down. So you just go in there and you're gonna make minor adjustments. So if you go any bit too high, your door's gonna lift up a little bit, it's gonna be too hard to close. You go too low, same problem.
The other thing to pay attention to too is try it with your fingers too at first, because when you first need to do it, generally it hasn't been on there long enough, so you don't have the moisture lock on the nut itself. So you can sometimes get it with your fingers, but if you can't, then you'll use that small socket, or you'll use a small ratchet if you can. So just start with like, so you'll make that first little and just say like how the small adjustments, and then slowly go to test it to close the door. And then also make sure that you say to raise the door up just a little bit when you're making the turn.
What did you say?
What are you doing?
Okay, so while we're keeping in mind with the adjustments, you want to go ahead and apply pressure on the bottom of the door. You can just use your right back leg just to make sure it's a little bit higher up. And when you open the door, you just want to make sure that when you're shutting it, you can go ahead and apply a little bit of pressure to make sure that when you do close it, it's still even. If you're pushing down and you do a little bit of catch, probably the door is a little bit too low. If you close it, and it's clicking a little high and you don't feel too much of a bounce up top, it might be a little bit too high.
So if it's a little bit too high, then all you're gonna do is you're gonna go back in there with the same wrench, same 3/16 Allen wrench, and just back it out a little bit. Turn it back to the left a little bit, and it's tiny, tiny movements at a time. Not super big movements, not half turns, not quarter turns. It's less than that. It's like eighths at a time. And then just slowly kind of close it in, feel the alignment, and then that's it. All right, well, we are all done. We didn't do an installation on it, obviously. We just made some adjustments to it. There was some issues with some noise in the door, so we took the door panel off, found disconnection in the wire that just let it fall down. So
I removed the passenger side door panel and went ahead and checked the wiring to make sure all of the wires were cleared up. We heard a little bit of rattling against the window, so we just wanted to double check to see if everything was in place. Some of the tape was missing, so we had to go ahead and replace that. We also went in and adjusted the door to make sure that when it shut, it was actually shutting evenly, not too high and not too low. And we had that video coming up for you guys, so keep your eyes tuned for that. Other than that, it was a pretty easy fix today. It wasn't really too much going on with the car. We just wanted to make sure that the airbag sensor wasn't going off, and well, lo and behold, it was not, so we're good to go. I'm blanking right now, man.
No, it's fine. I kind of threw him on the spot for it. He's not really used to the whole YouTubing part yet, so he's going to be obviously doing more, so he'll get more comfortable with it. But the customer was just talking about initially an airbag warning on his phone went off on his what is that? Not Autel. What's the GM's thing? OnStar. Shit. So he's got an OnStar notification shortly after his installation was done, saying something about an airbag warning. So we wanted to obviously fly out because that's a pretty serious situation. So we wanted to fly out, double check that, make sure everything was fine with that. Everything was good. It was just the system kind of resetting. It was what triggered that in the first place. But tested it out perfectly fine. But we did notice some tape fell off of a wire on the passenger side, so we went ahead and pulled that and fixed that as well. So that's why we were here in Stafford, Virginia today.
Hey, my name is Tom from Stafford, Virginia. I just wanted to give a shout out to Eikon Motorsports for Cut. I just wanted to give a shout out to Eikon Motorsports for the beautiful C8 install. Couldn't be happier.
Perfect. It's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
It's a wrap, yeah.
That's a wrap.
Yeah. Good thing you're good at editing. And I would have lost like 20 pounds had I known that.